I'm Deb McGrath.
And I'm international comedy icon Colin Mochrie. Thank you for joining us.
We're really happy to be here to celebrate the 2021 Mayor's Evening for the Arts.
To get us started on our theme of tonight, please welcome a star of musical theater stage, Charlotte Moore.
Good times and bum times, I've seen them all, and my dear, I'm still here. Plush velvet sometimes, sometimes just pretzels and beer, but I'm here. I've stuffed the dailies in my shoes, strummed ukuleles, sung the blues, seen all my dreams disappear, but I'm here. I've slept in shanties, guest of the WPA, but I'm here. Danced in my scanties, $3 a night was the pay, but I'm here. I've stood on bread lines with the best, watched while the headlines did the rest. In the depression, was I depressed? Nowhere near. I met a big financier, and I'm here. I got through Gandhi, Windsor, and Wally's affair, and I'm here. Amos and Andy, Mahjong and platinum hair, and I'm here. I got through AB's Irish Rose, 5D on babies, major bows, had heebie-jeebies for BB's bathysphere. I lived through Shirley Temple, and I'm here. I've gotten through Herbert and J. Edgar Hoover. Gee, that was fun and a half. When you've been through Herbert and J. Edgar Hoover, anything else is a laugh. I've been through Reno, I've been through Beverly Hills, and I'm here. Reefers and vino, rest cures, religion and pills, and I'm here. Been called a pinko commie tool, got through it stinko by my pool. I should have gone to an acting school, that seems clear. Still, someone said, she's sincere, so I'm here. Black sable one day, next day it goes into hawk, but I'm here. Top billing Monday, Tuesday you're touring in stock, ha, but I'm here. First you're another slow-eyed vamp, then someone's mother, then your camp, then you career from career to career. I'm almost through my memoirs, and I'm here. I've gotten through. Hey, lady, aren't you whose is? Whoa, what a looker you were. Or better yet, sorry, I thought you were whose is. Whatever happened to her? Good times and bum times, I've seen them all, and my dear, still here. Plush velvet sometimes, sometimes just pretzels and beer. But I'm here. I've run the gamut, A to Z. 3 cheers and damn it, say la vie. I got through all of last year, and I'm here. Lord knows at least I was there, and I'm here. Look who's here. I'm still here.
Hey, Jennifer Alicia.
Hey, Luke.
Sorry.
So we're here to talk about the land Toronto sits on, as folks were probably expecting at this point in the program. And as we know, most of us aren't actually from here. So first, I want to know, how does Toronto live in your memories?
As a child growing up in a community of about 600 people, I would often dream about a life beyond the skyline, beyond the fish plant and mink farm. And when I visited Toronto for the first time, I swear I could see my name written in the bright lights like it was written in the stars. Jennifer Alicia.
I couldn't see my name there quite yet as a kid, but sitting in the back seat of a 90s Nissan, cruising down the Gardner, what I could see was the lake to my right looking more like a sea, and the Raptors to my left at the ACC. That was Toronto to me. Whether it was learning about the ancient histories of this land through fossils at the Royal Ontario Museum, or watching Vince Carter slam.
So, Rom, Raptors, dinosaurs.
Yeah, pretty much Toronto was dinosaurs.
Oh. Maybe the lights aren't shining so brightly, but I am living the best version of me. Here, in this city we now call home, I get to dream without parameters or small town mentality. I found kinship, family, and community who support me in my journey, telling the stories of my family tree.
The year I bought my first Raptors jersey, DeMar DeRozan, I moved from the ginormous urban suburb, the 905, to the 416 city. I made a living off of my artistry, took to the stages with my poetry, felt supported by this community, and developed a new loyalty to my new home, a place where my stories could breathe.
Where in the 905?
Mississauga.
Like the people?
Like the city ironically named after the people the land was stolen from, yeah. That's where I spent my time before I came here. I lived my entire childhood in Mississauga without knowing what those lands and what that word meant. I thought someone just made that word up.
More like someone just made up these city borders. We don't get taught what was here before us, and still is here.
The ancient waterways that we drive over on the Gardner on the daily.
The black oak and pine savannas now shadowed by condos.
The medicine lost to the man-made shorelines.
The forgotten burial mounds now used for recreation.
The brutal murder of the respected and peaceful chief Wabakadinin.
And her sister, who was disappeared from the records.
This happened in 1796 near what we now call Sugar Beach, where I sit in Muskoka chairs under pink umbrellas.
Where my friends and I now hold full moon ceremony to honor the water and women. I would say it's irony, but it's blood memory. We remember. I remember walking through my old neighborhood. Indian Road, Indian Grove, Indian Crescent, Indian heads etched into brick on houses, and wonder if my neighbors choke when they have to provide their address.
I remember walking to the St. Lawrence Market on lunch breaks, making my way along landfill to this place of historic trade. I trade money for raviolis today in the same place where white men once traded for slaves. That's a real fact. That's the truth. And I stand in line with people who have no idea.
We walk the streets with people who have no idea. There are gaps that we need to fill, that textbooks have failed to fill, because they are made up of a single colonial story of conquest and triumph. Because history doesn't acknowledge the dish with one spoon wampum between the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples, elaborate belts, handmade from Welk and Quahog shells, reminding us of the shared stewardship of these lands. These treaties are forever.
We are not the first. We will not be the last. This is not new, at least to us anyways. Is it too much to ask that we make space for honesty and reflection, for accountability and reparations while using art as a vehicle for reconciliation? We're all here this evening because we support the arts, right?
Well, to truly support the arts, we need to do so even when it challenges us.
When art pushes us.
When art reveals our cracks.
When art makes us feel guilty.
When art reveals the truth.
We can still love this place while also wanting it to be better.
Uncomfortability is part of growing.
Many of us come to Toronto because we want to live our dreams.
Go to fancy dinners and see our names written in bright lights.
Be a part of a community, whether that be in the sports arenas or in the galleries and the theaters.
We may not be from here, but this is now the city we call home. And when we say all my relations, it includes all of you and all non-human things in creation.
We are tied to this place and inherently have a responsibility to uphold the treaties. We come here to tell our stories. What story will you tell after this?
Летіла зозуля через мою хату, сіла на колені, дай стала кувати. Ой, сіла на колені, дай стала кувати.
What's up, y'all? So we're gonna sing a song about flying away. So wherever you're going, safe journeys from the Lemon Bucket Orkestra.
Ой, гуляйте, дівочки, з вечора до ранку, та будете споминати дівочу гулянку. Vuela, vuela, el pajarito, vuela muy bonito hacia el infinito. Ой, гуляйте, дівочки, з вечора до світа, та будете споминати дівочі літа. Esa palomita me robó el corazón, ahora vuelo sin ninguna razón.
Летіла зозуля через мою хату, ой, сіла на колені, дай стала кувати. Ой, дай сіла на колені, дай стала кувати.
Welcome to this very special edition of the Mayor's Evening for the Arts. We're coming to you live from the John Bassett Theatre, live at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre.
We wish you could be here with us as we celebrate all that the arts brings to this city. The energy in the theatre is electric, and we hope you feel it at home. Thank you to Charlotte Moore and David Atkinson for a sensational performance of I'm Still Here, which originally was presented a few weeks ago at the Royal Conservatory of Music's opening gala of Stephen Sondheim's Follies.
Luke Reece and Jennifer Alicia's spoken word intro and land acknowledgement was so powerful, a reminder of the importance of community and the embracing of our past. Thank you for sharing this with us.
The Lemon Bucket Orchestra.
Wow.
Yes, I
was
defy
dancing.
you to sit there and not move.
We were dancing back there.
Amazing. They will return to close our evening along with other special guests for a rousing finale. Thank you all for getting our night started, and thank you to our ASL interpreter, Marcia Adolph. We understand that some of the reception videos that we're playing had severe video lag. We apologize to you, our guests, and most importantly, to the artists who provided the work for this inconvenience. It's sort of ironic that it was at the reception where the reception was bad.
Oh,
You see what I did there?
see what you did there.
Yeah.
Very funny. That's the kind of humor you can expect over the next little while. Thank you to the Toronto Arts Foundation for inviting us. We have an incredible turnout with over 500 in attendance. By being here, you're demonstrating your support for the arts, and in particular, Arts in the Parks and the Toronto Arts Foundation COVID Relief Program.
During the pandemic, artists contributed a lot to our well-being.
Yes.
I know we were constantly watching our comfort sitcoms, musical concerts, dance performances. Art became an essential service, and I hope you had a chance to attend the reception and catch a small sample and enjoy performances by a range of amazing Toronto artists and arts groups.
From our international exports like Eugene Levy and Opera Atelier, to our newcomers, artists such as Carlos Delago, to the next generation of greats with the U of T Jazz 12 Tet Ensemble, and many more. You'll have a chance to return to the reception performances after our live show is over at 8 o'clock.
You know, I actually checked out the attendee list, and it is a veritable who's who of the Toronto business and arts community.
All of Toronto is here. Check the chat to see who's in attendance.
And of course, we also have in the room the person who has graciously lent his name to this event to help raise the profile of arts in Toronto, His Worship, Mayor John Tory. He is being hosted by our head table sponsor, Acon.
For those of you who may have joined late and arrived to see us on stage, don't worry, you'll be able to join your table shortly.
Our program tonight includes, in addition to amazing performances, the ability to chat with your table mates or even skip over to another table if, you're with some stiffs. Just go over to say hello. There's also a silent auction which closes at 9 p.m.
To access the silent auction, click on the box located at the bottom center of your screen, which reads, "Click here to access the auction." See, even I could do that, and he'll tell you I'm not good at it. You won't see this link until we return to table mode. When you click the link, it will open a new tab on your computer to view the auction items. You will still be a part of this event, but you need to toggle between the two tabs to see either the silent auction page or us. Don't feel bad for us if you're not with us. We want you at the silent auction.
If you don't see the link, simply go to artsbid.ca. The gala organizing team have found great holiday gift items, many of which have been donated by our table purchasers and sponsors. Items include prints by artist Benny Bing, a 50-inch smart TV, Austin Matthews and Pascal Siakam jerseys, and gift certificates for hotels, restaurants, and shopping.
Music to my ears. There will also be a one-item live auction featuring a 5-night stay at the J.W. Marriott, Guanacaste, Costa Rica, with Air Canada return airfare. Bidding will take place using the chat function.
We're looking forward to experiencing with you the exceptional performances tonight.
But Before we continue, we want to be sure our table hosts have all had a chance to welcome all of your guests. We're going to take a short break and return to table mode.
After this conversation break, we will be back with more performances and remarks by Mayor John Tory live here at the John Bassett Theatre. Deb and I will be back in a few minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Claire Hopkinson, and I have the privilege of being Director and CEO of the Toronto Arts Foundation and Toronto Arts Council. Building connections between the arts and Torontonians is, as we say, my gig. You know, it's been a tough time for many, and in particular for artists whose work is so dependent on theaters, concert halls, and galleries, and whose livelihoods are dependent on you, their audiences. That's why your support tonight is such an inspiration, and I want to thank you very, very much for supporting us, for supporting the arts, and for joining us tonight online. A big thank you to the Mayor and to his wife Barbara for being such visionary champions of our event, of the arts, and of our city. So we are indeed hybrid tonight. And I'm personally delighted to be sharing the stage with amazing artists and special guests. I want a big shout out to wonderful hosts, Debra McGrath and Colin Mochrie. I really have been wanting to work with them for years. I cannot tell you just how wonderful it is to be back in the theatre tonight. And I encourage all of you to take the first opportunity you can to be part of Toronto's reopening. Toronto's cultural venues are starting to open up safely and cautiously, and our arts organizations would love to see you. Toronto is a city which thrives on connections and connecting. Arts, creativity, innovation are an important part of what makes Toronto such a wonderful place to live. Toronto's artists are helping to bring communities together again, to grow, to connect, and most importantly, to help us all fall back in love with Toronto all over again. At the Toronto Arts Foundation, we are committed to helping artists, as we have done throughout COVID-19. We're also committed to bringing the very best of Toronto to everyone, building accessibility, fostering equity, bringing arts programming to underserved neighborhoods. And for the past 6 summers, including 2 in a pandemic, Arts in the Parks has brought connections and joy to Toronto's beautiful parks throughout the city. We have engaged Toronto's communities and brought residents out to public spaces, connecting them to new experiences and to each other. Through your support, we will build back better, build community through the arts, foster a sense of belonging. This is the essence of city building. So we've put together a short video that illustrates how artists in the parks and beyond brought joy to our city. Thank you.
We're at beautiful Dentonia Park in Scarborough. So important to feel community again, because for so long we felt like we didn't have a community, we were so isolated. So that's why it's so important that we're back in the parks, we're together again, and we're able to enjoy each other's presences, the joys of community, the joys of theater and art, and do it all together and safely. Arts in the Park is all about bringing arts to communities outside in the parks, to bring it to different neighborhoods, to celebrate arts together, and just to have a great time in the parks.
Being with Arts in the Parks has meant being able to write more with nature and talk more about the community. Sitting behind a screen is fine, but I think when we're in person, we're more able to engage with each other and really appreciate the nature that we're part of today. Art is a creation of what's going on. It's a reflection of what's going on in society. We can really get a lot from these events because as the pandemic shown, there's a lot of art that's still needed.
Such amazing artistic work was done, despite the restrictions that we have lived with for the past 19 months.
Our next performer was recently named by the CBC as one of Canada's hot classical musicians under 30.
Please welcome Midori Marsh, accompanied by Frances Thielman.
Upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me.
Wow, that was amazing. I have to say, Midori and I have actually a lot in common because the CBC recently voted me the hottest comedian with a cholesterol under 30. So,
it's a true story.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Please join us now in welcoming a tremendous arts champion, Mayor John Tory.
Woot, woot.
Well, Colin and Deb, thank you very much for doing this again, and thank you very much to all of you for being here. I was just thinking to myself that it must be an eerie experience for a wonderful artist, a wonderful talented artist like Midori to be performing here in what is an empty theater. I'm quite used to the response. For her, she just gave a magnificent, clear-voiced performance, I can tell you from being here, and the lonely hands of Claire Hopkinson and myself applauding were the only ones that were here. I'm used to that, even when it's a full hall with my speeches, but having said all that, it is just great to see talent like this, and you know, all of you out there who are such supporters of the arts, and I thank you so profoundly for your continuing support. That is repeated over and over and over again in terms of the talent that we have in all different fields of endeavor in the cultural ecosystem of our city. And I'm so proud of that. And it's been such an important part of getting us through the pandemic. It's an important part of our economy. And of course, it's going to be an important part of our recovery and back to the stage where we're thriving as a city. So I want to, of course, start off by saying a word of thanks to the Toronto Arts Council and the Toronto Arts Foundation, to Claire and Kathleen and the whole team. These are people who work year in and year out, and they've done incredible service during the pandemic, providing support to artists. I think people, when they think about it for a moment, will realize that the arts sector and the individual artists in particular were among the very hardest hit people. There wasn't a place to dance. There wasn't a place to sing. There wasn't a place to show your work. And while people carried on doing various things that we've seen virtually, it just wasn't the same. There isn't anything much the same as speaking in front of a live audience or performing in front of a live audience or being able to show your work to people and interact with them. Nonetheless, I think we all would have found that different artistic pursuits helped to get us through the pandemic, whether it was on virtual performances or otherwise. Just even listening to recorded music, I'm sure, brought a smile to the faces of people who didn't have much to smile about during the depths of the pandemic. But, you know, there is hope. There's great hope. For this sector, and tonight is but one example of that. People tell me over and over again, one of the things I carried on doing during the pandemic was to do virtual trade calls to try and attract investment here to people from around the world. And they still want to come to Toronto. They're calling us in some cases to want to come here. There's many attractive things about this city. One that is mentioned no less frequently than the others is the thriving arts and cultural scene. They're aware of it when they see it here, but they're aware of it because they hear about it from some of our artists, of course, that are world famous, but just they hear about the scene here and how welcoming and embracing we are of our artists and of our arts and cultural scene and how much we intend to continue to do that. And I can just tell you my determination in that regard is absolute. I'm so proud of the fact that something that came to me not as an idea I thought up on my own, but I embraced it back in 2018, which was to have a year of public art. And a lot of hard work was done by a committee chaired by Councillor Gary Crawford and Dr. Sarah Diamond and by city staff and others, many in the arts community, and 1,500 artists who will participate in that program before it's done, the Year of Public Art. And I'm proud that while it was postponed a couple of times, maybe that turned out to be a good thing, because we're now having the magnificence of art that's so accessible to the public, that is so varied, that is so representative, more so than we've ever done before, of our BIPOC and other underrepresented artists. And I think it is bringing the city to life. It's helping to put a smile on people's faces. It's bringing them out to go around to the different neighborhoods and see this public art, much of which will remain after the Year of Public Art. And it allows those people, some of them who have been underrepresented, to tell their stories, to see the soul of the city emerge, to see people respond to that public art, which is accessible to everyone. And we're going to keep repeating that kind of thing. It's time for a new plan to take us forward. We've brought up the levels of investment. I'm proud of that, too, under this administration. We've done things like the Year of Public Art. We've done things to help some of the venues that have been struggling, and we're going to continue to do those things. But I think it's time for us to set a new series of objectives so that this sector of our city, this ecosystem that is so important, it's not just a part of the economy, it is part of the heart and soul of the city, can get better and better and better. And so that artists from right across the country and around the world will think that this is a place, will know that this is a place they can come to thrive and to succeed. And you know, we proved yet again during the pandemic that when we come together, when we work together, we can get almost anything done. And in this case, we had a collaboration between the Arts Council, between the foundation, between the different arts groups, and they were able not only to put together things like this and things like the Year of Public Art and so on, all the different people who work with the city and the artists themselves, but we were able to help artists in their hour of need. And I was proud of that too, because that is something where I think the pandemic was the story of how we supported each other and continue to do so as we work towards getting everybody vaccinated and putting this nightmare behind us. And I intend to continue to work as mayor to embed the arts as firmly as it possibly can be as a principal element in our recovery from COVID-19. You know, we talk about building back better, and there are many elements to that. But there can be no element more important than to have the arts embedded at the very core of who we are. I think it already is. The arts already are. But I think that we have some work to do to make sure that is entrenched even more so, and that artists even more so feel this is a place where they're embraced and they're welcomed and they're encouraged and they're supported. And I would say to you in that regard that individuals who have done so much to be here tonight, and I do thank you again for that, the sponsors and all the people who have bought tables and just those who've attended, and I had a chance to visit with quite a few virtually before dinner. But there are other things you can do. You know, people have fallen out of the habit of buying their subscription tickets. They've perhaps fallen out of the habit because they weren't able to go to a gallery and browse and perhaps buy a piece of art. They've fallen out of the habit of going to concerts. And these are all things that we can do, big or small, to bring our arts sector fully back to life and to show the support for artists who had no concerts to play, no exhibits to show, no dance performances to put on for so long. And in so doing, you will not only help them, but you will help the city. As you have done with the vaccinations. I'm so proud of the record we've achieved, which is something that is globally recognized in getting people vaccinated here and in supporting each other to do that. And during the pandemic, in placing a high priority, as we did throughout, in making sure the most vulnerable people were supported and were cared for and were informed, and whatever we had to do to reassure and to comfort them so that they would be able to fight off what was a disproportionate impact that this pandemic had on them. So I will just say to you that the work continues. We've just this fall completed the first arts center in the city in a long time out at the Guild Park. I'm looking forward to officially opening it in the new year. There's much more to come on that. We have extended the tax break to live music venues. We will be doing hard work on the new Wild Seed Center for Art and Activism with Black Lives Matter Toronto. The NIA Center is going forward. There's just so much going on. The forthcoming Indigenous Center for Innovation, which is again going to have a commitment to arts and to artists. These are all important investments, and it's all about making sure that we help our artists to be all they can be, to get back on their feet when they were perhaps briefly knocked down by the pandemic. There is, in simple terms, no recovery for Toronto without a full recovery for a thriving arts sector. And that is something that I'm deeply committed to with my council colleagues, and we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to make that happen. The Year of Public Art is a start on that. It's going to turn into a decade of public art because there is a 10-year program, but we have much more to do. And I think these things all couldn't have come at a better time because they're lighting our way to the kind of recovery that we want to have. They're lighting the way to having smiles put back on people's faces, to having them embrace each other. You know, it even seemed during the pandemic, and it wasn't just because of the pandemic, but it was because of prevailing politics elsewhere and so on, that people were talking at each other instead of with each other. There was a kind of polarization in the discourse that was taking place that is not the Toronto way. It's not the Canadian way. It's not healthy. It's not in the best interest of a thriving, embracing city that we are known for, the way of life that we're known for around the world. And I think that the arts are going to help us to stay away from that, to divert ourselves back onto the right path to the extent that we may have just drifted off the path a little bit. So please continue with your generosity. Please do renew those subscriptions that you once had. Please do go to the galleries and visit. Please attend the dance performances. Please get back to some of our cherished Canadian cultural institutions that are resident here in Toronto or that visit. I also want to just say a particular word of thanks to the people who helped to put this evening together. Fundraising co-chairs Mark Cote, Kevin Green, and Richard Paquette. They helped to make all this possible, of course, all the wonderful staff people. And I want to say a word of thanks to our city staff, too. We have a magnificent department. I've made a promise to them now. I've made a couple of promises, actually, and these are things that I'm interested in doing. But they work on the 14th floor. It's a fairly nondescript office floor, but I think it's appropriate we should get our artists to help them turn that into an arts floor at City Hall. And it may be that a lot of people from the public don't go there, but I want these people who do such a great job to be at their best when they work in encouraging and nurturing the arts in our city. It is not just an industry, but it is. It employs a lot of people. That's important. but what it is the place where we can express ourselves in universal languages to each other. It's going to be fundamental, as it has been already in the growth and the maturity of our city, to have ways in which we can bring people together. For so long in the last 19 months, we were forced apart. We were kept apart for good and valid public health reasons. But now we have to come back together, resume the Toronto way. And the arts and culture are going to be a fundamental part of that. And that's going to be going forward long after this pandemic has faded way off into the rearview mirror. So I thank you again for your generosity and for your support. Thank you for coming tonight. I look forward to hopefully joining a few more tables after the festivities are over. But I so much appreciate the fact that when it would have been easier when it's a virtual event, perhaps just to give it a rest or not to be here, you're here. The artists are here. I thank them for being here. I thank them for the wonders that they contribute to the well-being of this city. You've just seen a small sample of that here tonight, but I know you are people that are committed to seeing it each and every day and go out and get that opportunity as often as you can. So please keep doing that. And I am so bullish about this city. The people here are so wonderful. The way people respect each other, the way we embrace each other, the way we use the arts to bring each other together. There's a lot to be proud of in this city. It is a beacon for people from around the world. When those borders open up again, people will be flocking here because this is one of the best places in the world to live. In fact, I say quite often when I finish speaking to that sound of one hand clapping, if Claire claps for me, and I'm not even sure about that, that this is the best city in the best country in the world in which to live. And let's not forget that. And the arts are a hugely important part of that and always will be going forward. Thank you very much again for supporting this event tonight.
I am delighted to welcome back Mayor John Tory to share tonight's total amount raised. Thank you again, Mayor Tory. Your ongoing support has been invaluable to the arts sector in Toronto. And here he comes.
Anticipation.
Oh, yes.
Making his way.
The clock is ticking.
Building the drama.
But you're assuming that I actually have the number with me.
Well, we could make something up.
Well,
we could make something fabulous up, and it would come to pass.
Somebody was to bring me a little card.
Oh, well, here. There we go.
There's a microphone.
There's a microphone.
Although you don't seem to need one of those because you're mic'd up.
Yeah.
We could just stand here and have a sort of comedy act for a few minutes, but
We
I'm
could.
not a comedian. You are. You
Well, it
both
depends
are.
who you talk to. It could go either way.
I know.
It really could.
So this is an awkward moment where there is to be an amount that I was to have been handed. I was told on a little card that would actually tell me what the amount was.
That's all right.
And I don't know what the number is.
Sometimes there's beauty in awkward moments.
And I'm just standing here for a moment assuming somebody's going to come with that little card.
They may do.
With the number on it.
We've got people with smiles on
I know
their
it is
face,
hundreds of
panicking.
thousands of dollars. Oh, Claire, can you tell me the number?
We have the number. It's being
we
whispered
have
right
the
now.
number. Claire here, who was earlier the sole applauder, it is $762,000 with apologies for that small hiccup.
Whoa.
Because when you sort of call out for somebody to bring you the number, there's only Claire here to bring it. And she did.
Well,
she's
Bless
full
her.
value,
Well
as
done,
usual.
Claire.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Well
both very
done.
much. And thank you for the $762,000 for making it all possible. Thanks again.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely fabulous.
Well, that's incredible. Thank you
And
again.
it was all our donations, so I don't know what anyone
I know.
else did.
Now they have to match.
Slackers,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you again, Mayor Tory, for making this all possible. Also, thank you to the evening sponsors, to the organizing team, and the amazing artists who have graced our stage tonight. Please get in touch with the Toronto Arts Foundation if you would like to make a leadership gift in support of the foundation and arts in the parts.
Well, we're getting into the home stretch now, but I'm so looking forward to our finale, which just about sums up how many of us are feeling just about now.
Led by the Lemon Bucket Orkestra with the Hit and Run Dancers, special guest Jesse Ryan, who won the Foundation's Emerging Jazz Artist Award, and members of Honey Jam, who received the Foundation's Roy Thompson Hall Award of Recognition.
Раз, два, три, и... Last song of the night, y'all. Enjoy. me. Coming back again, I got a taste of love in a simple way. And if you need to know where I'm standing, you just fade away.
Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did?
Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid.
And I'm still standing after all this time.
Picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 I know I'm fighting so
Once I never could have hoped to win. Starting down the road to be me again. The threats you made that you cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now.
Still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time.
picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 Come on now, Jesse, give it.
I'm still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid.
And I'm still standing after all this time.
Picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you had a great time. Your support of the Toronto Arts Foundation, Arts in the Parks, and COVID relief is so deeply appreciated. A reminder, the silent auction will be closing at 9 p.m.
The formal part of the evening is over, but the party goes on. Stay to meet other guests until 9 p.m. Feel free to hop back into the reception by clicking the links in the drop-down menu at the top of your screen to enjoy the performances you may have missed on your way in, or stay in the dining room to chat.
Have a great week. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.
Stay safe.